to come live because like lots of interesting things have come to light in the past, I'm gonna say 24 hours. There's all sorts of local movement in terms of things happening in and around the Olean City School District in relation to honestly multiple factors that kind of all point to a pretty obvious conclusion that there is something wrong or intentionally flawed in the system. So I wanted to give a little bit of commentary on that because I'm me and that's what I do. So I received like a lot of messages from you folks and I appreciate them, and I really try to just simply use this like one skill set I have, which is speaking. I don't really actually enjoy being in the limelight very much, but I do try to use the skill sets that I have to better the world that I'm a part of. And so one of the ways I can do that is by going live on Facebook. Hey Brittany, hi, how are you? You're definitely going to enjoy this video. Feel free to read, I just read the word read. Feel free to send the link to some friends or tag some folks because I think you're going to be invested in this one. So, but I do try to use my skill set, right? Like my specific skill set as a part of helping the world. And so just for you folks who are watching, I love to clarify that because I don't have a vested interest in being in the center. I just do have a vested interest in making sure that the word gets out. And part of the way that you do social work in 2021 is you take to the airwaves. So, hey Joy, how are you? I'm so glad that you could join us here. Oh, I see some tags going on. This is going to be a delightful one, and so I hope people join. I did want to give a shout out of solidarity to the Olean teachers, especially as they've begun to protest for their own justice in this situation recently. In regards to a fair contract, I have been asked by the school district to make some specific statements, and that is the teachers are getting paid and they do have a contract. Okay, cool. We all knew this, but here's the situation at hand. The situation at hand is this. Right now in Olean, there is an unprecedented move in our community for an overhaul of a flawed system. Now, whether or not you believe the flaw is intentional or unintentional, it's still there. So, Lauren, thank you. I like my sophisticated background. I literally bought that light, that light right there. Because I thought it would make my background look better, and it holds all of my Bibles. Literally, this is a whole shelf of Bibles back here. This whole stack of books is all Bibles, just because like people like to say that I don't know what I'm talking about, so I try to just really put it out there. You know what I'm saying? Right now, what we're seeing, though, in Olean is an unprecedented move where the school system is only working for those who it was designed to work for. It's designed to perpetuate a regime of administration and uphold a certain amount of values that allow people personal clout and income at the sacrifice of our students' safety and our teachers' respect. And so I'm trying to let people know that these struggles are not independent of each other. We need to simultaneously be lifting our voice as a community, and we need to be demanding that the school board simultaneously protect our students and respect our teachers. And we need to do that because the teachers are in the trenches for our students every day. Many times the teachers are the source of safety and stability for our students, and it's an affront. It is abhorrent at this time that this is the second occurrence of an administrator speaking out publicly in ways that are demeaning to students within the student bodies because of their demographics. And it's speaking and propagating public messages that are harmful to sections of the student body. This is the second time in 3 years, right? And also at the same time, we have an administration that is not only, kind of creating the mic for these voices of administration, but they're also refusing to give our teachers a fair contract while simultaneously raising their own. So the administrators received like an 8% raise with this past contract renewal, and the teachers are supposed to be given 2%, which will effectively be eaten up by the cost of their health care. Meanwhile, our teachers have worked through a pandemic. Our teachers bring tissues in every year. Our teachers bring crayons in every year. Our teachers attend multiple sporting events in a night to support their students. Our teachers drive to the houses of their students to sit on the front lawn during a global pandemic so those students know that they're cared for. It is time that the school system works for the community and for the teachers and not just the administration. Carissa, yes, this is the second time in 2 years that we have had a public instance of I don't want to use, I hate using the word hate speech because it seems like I'm trying to be a shock. I'm trying to go for the shock, but really it's speech that's diminishing to segments of our community. It's condemning to segments of our community, literally condemning to hell. 3 years ago, the special education director and the Title IX director at the time actually made a public post about how LGBTQ people were of the devil, and that children shouldn't be exposed to them. So yeah, there's that. So 3 years ago, we presented with the Olean City School District with a plan drawn up with a lawyer to prevent this from happening again. Because as I said the first time, 3 years ago, healthy people attack problems and unhealthy people attack people. So at that time, me, myself, and some other friends who eventually coalesced under the name Cattaraugus County Pride Coalition, we came together and we made this plan, and the plan was to prevent this instance from happening again. Not once did we rally to take away the livelihood of a person, which is a common narrative that's happening right now. No. We have been rallying around a protective measure to be placed for our students so that this doesn't happen again. Furthermore, this time around, it was actually preached. So you have an added level of gravity to it because it's an administrator who's coming from a religious perspective, who's publicly broadcasting their speech, putting it in the public realm, not private, publicly broadcasting this in a way that multiple students who fall into these categories can hear. So this is our second time in 3 years. I mean, it's not our second time. It's like our 8th time in 3 years. But this is the second go round with the same situation. So it's a second administrative member who has felt comfortable publicly propagating just divisive and diminishing speech towards subsets of our community. And at the same time, this same administration is getting an 8% raise while our teachers can't get anything. And our teachers are the ones in the trenches providing aftercare to the students after they hear these incredibly negative and harmful messages. So it's been a wild ride, to say the least. So I uncovered a little video from a former local politician who is no longer in office, but continues to speak just as loudly and unwieldingly as ever. And so this person made a response to the middle school pastor / principal to his one of his sermons, which was about 2 weeks ago. But in it, my name came up, so I'm like, okay, this is like fair ground, right? So. Yes, there was more, Carissa. There was more than just this time, and that's something that not everybody knows. So I like to mention that too. So, yeah. So former local politician, general communal, like blowhard, I guess. I don't know. Decided to make a video reviewing the sermon of the administrator in question from this instance. However, he decided to get off a tangent and really just, I don't know, like call me a witch and a lunatic and all sorts of cool stuff. So I want to make just a little bit of a response to this because it directly involves a situation. And so before I start this comparison video, I want to make one disclaimer, and this is this. There are certain issues that I approach from a public policy and community perspective, and there are certain issues that I approach from a theological perspective because, as not everybody knows, and certainly this guy doesn't know, I am actually a Christian pastor. Like, that is what I am professionally trained to do and be. Moreover, I already hold 1 degree on the topic and I'm going for more. So that is happening. It's a good time. So I'm going to delineate very carefully because this is not a religious issue. And so when I make this video, I want you folks to know that I'm not conflating the two issues. However, there is a quite obvious conflation of the issues when we'll watch this video together. So I'm fully aware and able to separate between the two, because one is a public policy conversation and one is a theology conversation. And I will participate in both. But I'm aware that they are separate and they do not need to overlap, because we should not have religion as a guiding factor in our public schools. And I am saying this as someone who is a conservatively trained Christian. This is what I'm saying. So I'm just putting it out there. Emily and Kaylee, thank you for joining me on YouTube. It's so nice to see you people. I'm going to go ahead and bring on screen this response video so you guys can get ready for a wild ride. Please let me know if you can hear this. I tried to make it as loud as possible so that folks would be able to hear. Okay? All right, so I would also like to state that this video is not my property. This is the property of the Life22 YouTube channel. And then the video he's responding to is a property of Fresh Fire Church in Olean, New York. So it's a little bit of like a review video inception, because I'm actually responding to a response video. But you'll see why it's important in a moment. So let me know if you can hear it, all right? Let me bring this on over. You should have known, Rebecca. You really should have known. So, I'm going to go ahead and start this video, folks.
Kevin here, hitting at you with video number 2 on the Joel Witcher controversy and my take. So I'm going to review yet another piece of evidence, another video that's been put forth by the by all the lunatics up at the school board meetings. And
are you guys able to hear that? I just want to make sure real quick, because he's introduced himself and he has already began to call everybody that speaks at the school board meeting lunatics. So we're clearly starting off on a intellectually honest and open plane for some good faith conversation. Awesome. Here we go. Lunatics at the school board meeting.
We'll review this yet another video. Here we go. Eventually. There we go. All right.
I do have a beef with the witch. She knows who she is.
It's okay. So, not a bad guy. Doesn't hate his fellow man. Right? He's got a beef with the witch. I don't know who the witch is. He goes, she knows who she is.
Yeah.
So, Brittany, we can't. That's the thing. And yeah, it's really fun to lead with ableism. Ableism is a great starting point for a good faith, open postured community conversation. You're the witch, Brittany? I know so many. I've actually found out about so many more witches in Olean, because I've probably had, and I'm not going to lie to you, 15 people who've had interactions enough with this person to say I'm the witch. So I think that that's fantastic. We are all the witch. We're all the witch. So yeah. So we're going back into it. I did want to make one other disclaimer. I did cut out sections of this video because for a long while Kevin is just listening to the original video, and this original video I've already responded to. So look at you, Brittany. You little rebel. I'm so proud of you. All right, we're going back into it. Back into this.
In an Olean area witch.
Okay, so she doesn't live in the Olean area. I don't know if it's the person that was putting up these videos, these clips and edits, or if it was the infamous WTH Leo, which I would lean towards that, because
I'm the infamous WTH Leo. Apparently my branding's not clear enough, because it's really not the brand, but it's cool. So Kevin either thinks that this video, these video clips were placed by a witch or myself, one or the other. So let's keep going, because he has some more commentary to offer about me.
Leo has been the biggest opponent, but Leo is typically the biggest opponent. Anytime Leo finds something that leaves what he considers a bad taste in its mouth, it will go and bite people.
I didn't catch this for the first time, but did you guys hear if he referred to me as it? Because it almost sounds like he did. It says anything that leaves a bad taste in its mouth. So I think I may have uncovered this a thing. So that's good too. But yeah, so anytime I experience anything that leaves a bad taste in my mouth, this is what happens.
It goes up and it bites the school board because you're not doing anything about this guy who believes in his religion and his scripture. Well, guess what? This scripture's been around for 200-300 years. You're not going to change it by saying that everybody. Yeah, it's just. Is he out there?
So first of all, first point, here's the thing, is that when I've approached the school board, every single time I've approached the school board, every single time I've approached the school board, the first statement I have made is this is not a conversation about religion. Because it's not a conversation about religion. I will have my conversations about religion separately. When I go to the school board, I'm talking about the school. Also, Brittany, yeah, 200. Yeah, that's cool. I've studied enough scripture to explain that it's not. It's a lot longer. But we will go see. It's no big surprise that he doesn't get it. No surprise. So we're gonna keep going here. So
let's address the elephant in the room, right? Like Christianity does not coincide with gay marriage, right? Like it just doesn't. They've got scripture that says that they can't, and if you have to follow this strict scripture, then I mean, what do you expect these people to do? Find a new religion? Well, guess what?
We're gonna launch into a whole new tangent, so I wanted to stop first. Now, this is the theological hat coming out, so please hear this. There is actually no references to homosexuality in the Bible before 1946. The anti-LGBTQ agenda that exists within American evangelicalism specifically, because it does not exist within all of Christianity, but that exists within American evangelicalism, is nothing more than fear-mongering and an agenda. It's just not. And I have read the Bible back and forth in multiple languages, and at this point taken about 7 years of just straight up Bible courses. And I will absolutely have a conversation about how the Bible does not in fact prohibit LGBTQ people. And even if we didn't believe that, the Bible does not go on to say that you should publicly deride people. Period. Now, we're going to watch from a little bit further. Kyla, you didn't miss too much. We're really just getting into the meat of it here. So far I've been called a lunatic, and I think but I can't confirm that, so I don't want to say that. We're going back into the meat of it here. So I just discussed my theological viewpoints. Now we're going to take off my theological hat because the conversation takes a wildly careening right turn here.
It goes against everything that America is to tell somebody they have to go against their own religion. Now, is he going out there harming and taking away from other people? Now, let's change the definition of what harming is, right? Like, no, he's not out there, like, beating up gay people. He's not out there, like, threatening their lives. He's not out there harming them. He's out there with these beliefs in his head that say that gay marriage is wrong.
So, this is a thing. In America, we do have freedom of religion. But to have freedom of religion, our public institutions need to have freedom from religion. And this is where the conflation of the issue is occurring. Multiple people have expressed that there is an, and I quote, angry mob out who are out to destroy a good man's living. And apparently, we're in the wrong. So first of all, I have not met the angry mob. So if you could send them my way, I would love to meet them. But second of all, yes, this is America. No one's telling you to change your belief. But you've conflated the conversation because the conversation happening in the school board chambers is not about religion. It is about public school systems being safe places for all. Kyla, this is former local politician Kevin Doherty. He also owns a couple local businesses, and people can put his information out there. So, but back to what he said. This is America. It's not anybody's job to make someone change a religion. That's not what anybody's saying. I'm not saying that you need to change your religion. What I am saying from my theological hat is that the Bible doesn't actually condemn gay people. And we can have an honest conversation about that all day long. But it's a thing. And as a matter of fact, there are Catholic saints and Christian patriarchs who were gay in the like 3rd and 4th century. I'll describe this all to you if you're interested. We're not trying to change anybody's religion here. I have no interest in changing anybody's religion. What I do have an interest in, though, is the fact that a public leader, someone who is a middle school principal, should not be promoting views that are antithetical to the guiding principles and the mission, vision, values of the school district that they are a principal at. Furthermore, this principal is still in the employ of the school district, albeit on leave right now, still in the employ of the school district and making derisive statements about the school district on public video. Thank you, Heather. My friend Heather jumped on. Heather's a rabbi. Heather can also confirm that the Torah, aka the Hebrew scriptures, aka the scriptures of the Jews, do not condemn LGBTQ folks either. And the Torah is what the Bible came after. So really, the foundation is completely eroded for religious hatred of LGBTQ people. Theological hat. Public service community hat. You cannot promote divisive ideas from a position of power. It is psychologically abusive to young children who are trained to believe in the efficacy of their leaders. And then their leaders get up and say that a person like them is going to hell or is demon possessed. That is unethical. Unethical. Let's dive back in.
Condoning his scripture. I'm just saying that's his belief system. This is America. You can believe whatever you want. You can be a racist. This is
Time out. Time out. This is a central point to Kevin's argument is this is America. You can be a racist. So the conversation's only going to get better from here. What he just said before I hit pause was this is America. You can be a racist. Back at it.
It's not against the law, right? Like you can hate somebody because of their ethnicity, the color of their skin, the people that they sleep with, the quantity of people they sleep with.
You heard it here, folks. Hate, an American value of a true patriot.
The lack thereof. You can hate somebody for whatever reason you want because this is America, and you can have thoughts and beliefs that are your own, that live in your head, and there's nothing anybody can do about that. You're not going to be able to send somebody to camp to, untrain them in thoughts and belief systems that they have. You just can't.
I'm not sure what camp we're talking about. I didn't even know where that's going. But the thing is that yes, you can have whatever religious beliefs you want. That's a great part of America. But as a public school employee, you have a duty to uphold the standards of the school district that you are in. You cannot publicly broadcast speech that goes against the mission, vision, core values, and guiding principle of the school district. That's in the student and employee handbooks, right? And that's what he's doing. All right. The other issue, Kyla, like you said, is they don't live just in your head when you are live streaming these beliefs to a community. Now, theological hat, it is morally reprehensible to promote speech from a religious position that incites violence. It's morally reprehensible. Public hat, it is also unacceptable to publicly broadcast speech that goes against the mission, vision, core values, and handbooks of the district that said employer is involved in. Kyla, I can't even get started on the ways in which Christians have done horrific things to people of all kinds, namely LGBTQ people, Muslim, and Black people. That's a thing where Christians have a lot of blood on their hands, and I'm saying that as someone who came from that tradition. We'll see what else Kevin has to say.
This is America, right? Like that's, you're going to have people that are racist. You're going to have people that are idiots. You're going to have people that don't agree with your lifestyle.
Ah, the great aspiration of America, to harbor and coddle the racists, idiots, and people who don't like other people's lifestyle. On an aside, this is neither theological nor community action based, but being gay is not a lifestyle. It just is. Like I don't know what lifestyle facets that people are talking about, but it's not a lifestyle choice, right? Yes, Kyla, thank you for mentioning that. Indigenous people. Christians have also literally committed genocide on indigenous people. Yet again, another video. Now we're going back to America, where it's okay to be racist and the Constitution supports your right to be an idiot. This is the argument that is being laid out, not that I am making, just that I am responding to.
Whether it fills them with hate, disgust, whatever, that is on them. You don't have to deal with that. But at the same time, you can't vilify them for having these thoughts, right? Like, that's like if a spouse caught their spouse, a husband or a wife caught their spouse cheating on them, and you saying, "Whoa, wait a minute, we threw monogamy out the window. You have to be okay with this." No, they don't have to be.
This is not a conversation about cheating or monogamy. This is a terrible analogy. No one has to be okay necessarily with how anyone else lives, although it's just an incredible bastardization of sacred texts to use them to hate instead of to love. But this is not about that. We are not talking about mandating a lifestyle for everybody. I'm not trying to convert people to be gay. I'm not trying to convert people to be Christian. I'm not trying to convert people for anything. We're just saying that there are certain mores, rules, and guidelines that you have to follow, especially as a public school employee.
Leave a rotting feeling in their gut when something like that happens. You cannot tell somebody how they can or cannot feel. He can't tell you that you can't be angry, that his belief system is this way. At the same time, you're not going to change it.
I have no interest in changing Joel Witcher's belief system. You'll actually notice that that is the first time in this video that I've said this man's name, because it's not about him. His belief system can be whatever it wants to be, and I can debate that in my theological hat anytime. But this issue at hand is a community-facing public school system issue. And it is a public school system issue that exposes a systemic, reoccurring problem. Because this has happened 3 years ago, it's happening now, and echoes of it are happening with our teachers. It's not an equitable system. It's designed to work for the people who are already in power and to keep them in power and with money in their pockets. This is not a conversation about changing anybody's religious beliefs. So we're going to see what else Kevin has to say.
And it takes all kinds to make up this world, and it takes up all walks of life. So you either learn to get along with him, because he should not have to lose his job, because
I'm going to wait a second.
he believes a certain way. As long as he's not acting on it, you know.
He shouldn't lose his job because he believes a certain way. Kevin and I agree on something. He shouldn't have to lose his job because of his beliefs. But there should be consequences for actions. But once again, I haven't even focused on that, because there are lots of people focused on his actions. My focus is attacking a system that is either broken or designed to only work for the few and to perpetuate their own power and income at the expense of all other people in the district, i.e. the students and the teachers. It does not matter what he believes, it matters what he does with those beliefs in the public sphere as a representative of the school system. Wow. I'm going to say like 50 comments just auto-populated, so I am sorry if I missed your comments. Back to the video.
That's the big deal here, right? Like he's not beating up kids in the school. He's not bullying kids into committing suicide because they're gay.
Here's the issue. He's not beating up anybody in the school. That's a different school administrator. Sorry, different video. He's not beating up kids in the school, and he's not actively pulling the trigger for people who are committing suicide. But what he is doing is perpetuating ideas that are psychologically damaging to students when heard from the mouths of someone who is supposed to be their leader, mentor, and chief cheerleader. It is morally and legally indefensible for a person who is the leader of a diverse student body to publicly deride sections of that student body. Those are actions. And furthermore, those thoughts lead to actions, i.e., the multiple accounts of hate-based incidents that have been reported to the school administration. Since the first school board meeting, there was people outside of the first school board meeting after this video dropped. And they were actually yelling LGBTQ slurs at others. It was a student yelling at another student to the point where the SRO had to step in. That's happened since this video went viral. And even before this video went viral, actually, this church said publicly and broadcast publicly that their intention was to infiltrate the schools and to preach the gospels in the schools. Furthermore, fun little fact, in 2015, this same church tried to hold church services in the schools. The school board in 2015 voted to not let this church hold meetings within the schools because it would be a conflict of First Amendment rights of students. But now, this same church wasn't allowed to hold a service in the school, so now they're just going to infiltrate the school. I want to ask you guys this. If a Muslim person got online and made a video saying they were infiltrating the schools, how quickly do you think that the NSA would have contacted them? That's all I'm saying. Let's go back to the video.
Secondly, kids in the school, there shouldn't be gay kids in the school. There shouldn't be strict
there shouldn't be any gay kids in the school. It shouldn't happen.
Kids in the school. You know why? Because kids' sexual orientation happens when they start having sex, right? And they should not be having, most of these kids he's a middle school principal.
There was a lot of unfinished sentences there, but essentially what was said was there shouldn't be gay kids in the school, there shouldn't be straight kids in the school, because sexual orientation doesn't exist until you're having sex. So I can see that this person is obviously not versed in any sort of psychology, amongst other things, but people's orientation and gender is not based on who they do or don't commit sex acts with. People's orientation and gender exists outside of any sexual actions ever happening. Are you only straight when you are having straight sexual relations? No. You're straight because you're straight, and it's the same way when you're gay because you're gay. And saying that you shouldn't have gay kids in the school or straight kids in the school is absurd. We need to be having conversations. We already have Project No in the schools. We already have Project No in the schools. I'm not even going to go beyond that. The conversation around safe sex practices begins at 4th grade now, I believe. It starts in the middle school, and the middle school goes down to as low as 4th grade. So I can't recall exactly when Project No starts. So please don't quote me on that. It might be a misstatement, but I know that Project No starts in the middle school, and the middle school goes to 4th grade. But there are curriculums as low as 1st grade that start to talk about healthy relationships and self-actualization, so as to provide kids with an understanding of healthy relationships that will lead to healthy safe sex practices, because safe sex practices is actually a matter of public health, also not a matter of religion. So here we go.
Most of the kids he's dealing with are 13 and under, 14 and under, even just to go on the high side for the kid who was left back a year. Right there.
There are a lot of children in our schools who either by choice or by another adult's choice have already had encounters that are physical. It's not like it's not happening. It's not like it's not happening. This is absolutely an appropriate conversation for high school. Safe sex practices and healthy relationship practices. So, yes, Brittany, under his logic, you have to have sex with everybody to know, apparently.
They're not having sex. They're not
They are. They are.
sex, so they can't have a sexual orientation.
Yes, you can.
Well, what if they were going to be gay? I mean, we're going to get in the nurture-nature argument, but if they someday will become gay or someday will become straight, I don't think we need to be broaching a lot of these topics with children. That's up to the parents. This is not up to the school district. It's not up to Leo to be trying to broker a position with the school district to try to recruit more kids to be gay.
You heard it here, folks. The absolute coup de grace. I am trying to broker a position within the school system to recruit kids to be gay. I didn't even know I was doing that. I didn't know I was doing that. Someone forgot to tell me? Someone forgot to tell me that I was supposed to be recruiting gay children by way of attending school board meetings. Wow. That's not how this works. Nope. No, it's not how it works. Furthermore, I'm not trying to broker a position within the school district to create more gay children. It's a wild conspiracy theory, but not wild considering the source.
There's a difference here.
Difference.
Joel isn't out there trying to recruit kids to be straight.
That's actually an expressed purpose of the church, is to turn gay people straight. It's a whole thing called reparative therapy. It's a whole thing that Joel goes on to talk about in terms of deliverance. It's a whole thing that they're trying to make people straight and conservative. Definitely not Democrat, because as Joel stated, Democrats are of the devil. So, that's actually a thing that churches are trying to do. They're trying to go make people straight. So, yet again, we see a fallacy in this argument.
He doesn't have like a little hey kids, come join the job fair where we're gonna make you a straight kid.
Yeah, they do.
And then there's the other side of the team that says, oh, we're gonna raise you to be gay. Like, no, it shouldn't be broached with those kids. It's up to the parents.
Once again, not recruiting children. But thank you for playing on the old favorite conservative fear of pedophilia.
Conversations without these kids. If the kids later on, once they turn 18, choose to be gay or straight, that's a...
You can't be gay before you're 18. Remember that.
They choose to be a lima bean nowadays, let them.
Lima bean?
But you don't fucking push that shit on kids now.
Do not push lima beans on kids.
Anyways.
Do not push lima beans on kids.
This is the Kevin Show, right? So we're going down a rabbit hole. And here we go.
Grab your snorkel.
Get your snorkel out.
She knows who she is, and she knows I came after her this morning in the spirit.
Yeah, came after her in spirit. Never came after her. So he can... The same way that you guys are praying bad things about Joel... On the other side, you guys, he can pray bad things about you. Maybe he believes that the devil is in you, and he hopes to get the devil out so that you can be a normal, functioning person.
So I'm currently not a normal functioning person. Also news to me. Just wow. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot right there. No one is praying ill will on one person. At least not that I've talked to. The people that I have talked to, which includes a very large cross-section of the community, are trying to petition our school to protect our children and respect our teachers. I can see that the message has clearly been lost. Because I am not praying ill will upon a person. I've actually only mentioned that person's name once at a school board meeting. Because it's not about a person, it's about a systematic problem. And the system needs to be held to the standard of protecting our students and respecting our teachers.
belief system. Right?
I so much love people.
It's a
But
loving
what they
guy.
don't know about me is I hate the devil.
I'd like to point out a finer point of this argument is that he hates the devil, but he believes that the devil dwells within gay people. He also believes that the devil dwells within people who have schizophrenia. And I do hear that evil dwells within COVID test swabs. So, if you don't hate people, but you hate the devil, but you believe the devil is in people, how does that work out?
And I hate sin. I ask right now that you touch the hearts of those that I have angered.
This is theological hat. Asking God to touch the hearts of the people that you've angered is not an apology.
You show them who I really am.
He wants to show these people that he's a good person.
You know how you show people who you really are? You stand up for the widow, the weak, the lonely, the orphan, and the poor. And you respect the population of the school district that you lead.
And their belief system.
And how much I really do care about them.
Person. He is the devil to them, right? So that's what he's doing.
No one said that any one person was the devil. I'm confident that most people who are protesting the school board don't believe the devil exists, at least the people I've talked to. And we're going.
Love seems like hate when you refuse to receive it.
That's a wildly abusive statement for the record. Theological hat. Love seems like hate when you refuse to receive it. Is actually literally sounds like it was ripped from the page of Shit Abusers Say.
That we
I
speak
don't know why this is even in the video.
truth in this house. Speak against the truth, you're speaking against God.
So that's part of the belief system. What are we knocking here, right? Like,
If you have a problem with something that has been said from this pulpit, the first thing that you need to do is get on your knees and ask God, is it the truth? People, you won't find peace in homosexuality, lesbianism.
oh, that's why they added that in there, because the last little bit there. Let's go. You're saying you won't find peace in it. Maybe he's right. I don't know.
This just in, Kevin Doherty explaining why lesbians can't find peace.
I don't think a gender studies major is going to tell you either. I think you, whatever religion you have, I think you have to make those decisions for yourself. These people believe this, and they have the right to believe this. You have the right to say, hey, I don't have to believe their beliefs, and I like being in homosexuality or being in lesbianism or whatever it is that you're into, BDSM. Like, we can draw the line in certain areas, though. You start liking to be with children in a sexual manner, guess what? There's going to be a beatdown.
I'd like to point out the subtle but all too common linkage between LGBTQ people, BDSM, and people who like children. Yes, this is a common cultural narrative that people try to use to discredit LGBTQ people. It's not a thing. It's just a fear-mongering tactic that is used by people to conflate issues of abuse with consensual relationships of people who are non-heterosexual. Awesome.
By the law of street justice. So, that we can all come to common grounds and draw some lines on stuff. I don't think hating one another, and I'm going to take a page out of Joel's book. We need to love one another, not hate each other. Quit attacking people, folks. All right, so that...
We need to love one another, not hate each other. But in America, we protect your right to be racist and ignorant. Those are all words said by the same person in the span of 10 minutes. If you want to love someone, you actively love them. You do not actively love someone by saying that they are demon-possessed. That's a theological conversation. The public commentary, the issue in the school boards, is that you do not say something from a public platform as a school administrator that goes against the code of conducts, mission, vision, and values that are listed on the school board and in the code of conduct handouts. This is another conflation of the issues.
That's another video. We'll probably put another one out here shortly.
Can't wait.
And we will we'll catch you on the next take of Kevin's take on this controversial Joel Witcher issues. Kevin here.
So, here's the situation at hand. This is not a Joel Witcher issue. We can't say that enough. Apparently, we really can't say that enough because this is still a conflation that people are making, that this is an issue about a person. This is not an issue about a person. This is not an issue about religion. This is an issue about an administrator and an administration within a school district that would rather protect itself and the people within the administration and school board than protect our students and respect our teachers. This is not a religious issue. This is not an LGBTQ rights issue. This is an issue of what is and is not okay in our public schools. And it has nothing to do with religion. And it has everything to do with how you speak about the students and teachers within your school district. And the way in which you do or blatantly don't enforce responsibility when hate speech, abuse, and injustice happen within the school system. That was a long one, guys, but I think I'm done. If you're interested on what's happening in Olean regarding the school board, not that guy that was speaking or the guy that was preaching, but the things that are actually happening, you can follow my page. Like I said, I don't necessarily feel like I need to be in the limelight, but I do feel like I need to use the skill set that I have to change the community that I live in for the better. And so I talk, and that's like a thing I do, and I do it regularly. If you're interested in what I have to say personally, you can check out Conversations. That little logo right there is for my podcast, Conversations. It's a podcast and a YouTube channel. If you're interested in what is happening in terms of social justice and community movements in Olean, New York, you can follow the Olean Regional Justice Coalition page. If you are interested in speaking at the next school board meeting, it will be not this Tuesday, but the following Tuesday. And you can definitely get involved and stand up and demand that our school board and our administrators protect our students and respect our teachers. I would love, love, love to talk to you all in person about this later. Hit me up at any